Hello, it's Philip Taylor from Richmond Green Chambers speaking, and I'm looking at the new edition of Paterson's Licensing Acts 2010. This is a Flickr review. My wife and I have written a review entitled Modern Licensing, brought to you after 500 years of organic growth from Henry VII. So it goes back a long way. The book is in two parts, two volumes. Volume 1 deals with alcohol, refreshment taxes and street trading licenses, that sort of thing. Very much the standard LexisNexis structure. Some nice shaded areas there, and then you can see the paragraph numbers clearly set out. Volume 2 is betting, gaming and lotteries. Again, important, very heavy, slightly bigger book this one, but again a huge amount of information, and it is where the law can be found. It's the backbone basically of our common law and obviously our statutes. So what's in it? There is of course one thing which many people would find helpful as a CD at the back. So what's in it for us? Well, the point is licensing can reflect as well as change the fabric of our societies, our cities, our cultural attitudes and even our behaviour. So we welcome the 118th edition by Simon Mehigan, if that's the correct pronunciation, Jeremy Phillips and Mr. Justice Saunders. Obviously I've been involved with this sort of area for many years, making applications for licenses or actually sitting on or chairing licensing committees, so I'm familiar with the work we use in local authorities and the concept of this statement on the law. It's a highly controversial area and one that will certainly be on the political agenda for this year, 2010, with the general election. And as a manifestation of the political will, the concept of licensing affects all of us at least at some time in our lives, because it deals with such a wide range of activities, obviously from things like gambling to alcohol consumption, street trading and entertainment. Not surprising, therefore, that this has been going around for a long time, this book. It's used by professionals. Obviously the local authorities are particularly keen on knowing about it and using it thoroughly, especially if there's a substantial body of opposition to an application. It's a lucid, large and detailed work. It's authoritative, of course, 2 volumes, about 2,400 pages and 3,000 pages in this one, so it's big. New material covers a whole range of things that have happened in the last year, including sales to people under 18 for alcohol and so forth. Obviously the legislation by the government is covered with the policing acts and various other pieces of legislation. There also in volume 2 are issues concerning new statutory instruments, of course, and the Gambling Commission publications. I think of interest to the general reader and to the layman who's probably not aware of this but doesn't like some of the applications is that it's a fascinating segment which traces itself back to the development of licensing legislation over 500 years ago, to the time of Henry VII, who led Tudor Britain out of the medieval disorder to take sureties from the keepers of alehouses for their good behaviour. So it goes back a long way. One rather wonders, of course, what's happened to the legislation now, because the basic intention, according to the 3 authors, is to demonstrate how the present system is the result of 5 centuries of organic growth, something which contemporary legislators should be more than dimly aware. We like the book, and obviously it's a work which is incredibly important. The licensing fees are useful to know about as well, and obviously there's a huge amount of data. The law is stated as at the 1st of September 2009, so it's running through into 2010. And there have been some additions to it, but it remains organically growing from the time of one of those wicked old Tudors, Henry VII, to our modern second Elizabethan age, where the problems, issues still remain, relatively the same sort of problem that I referred to earlier. But our monarch, of course, is nothing like Henry, thankfully, and so the processes are relatively democratic to most people's way of thinking. That is, of course, unless your permission is turned down or your objections are ignored. Thank you very much, LexisNexis. Bye-bye.